I turned 38 a few days ago, and I wanted to share 38 lessons, harsh truths that I've learned along the way that I think you'll really appreciate. Number one, spend time with people who bring the best out in you. Spend time with people that love, challenge, and support you unconditionally. Get rid of the negative energy into your life and spend time with people that you're aligned with. Number two, make fitness a priority, but don't make it your entire life. I've made this mistake in my past where fitness was my entire life. Everything I did throughout the day, throughout the week, revolved around nutrition and fitness. And while that served its purpose for a period of time, it got old and it took away from my ability to enhance other areas of my life. So find a schedule and a cadence that works for you. Again, make it a priority, but don't make sure it consumes 100% of your life. Number three, remain grateful for what you have. It's easy to look at the things in your life that you don't have. It's easy to look at things that you haven't achieved. But the challenging thing is really being present and acknowledging the things that you do have in your life and remaining grateful for that. This will especially be important during hard times because you're going to have to really cling on to things that are positive in your life. And that's a great way to do so. Number four is most people aren't actually your true friends. Most people are just along for the ride. And I experienced this firsthand when I was doing and selling drugs. When I stopped that lifestyle, I lost a lot of my friends because they were just in it because I was getting high with them or I was selling them drugs. They didn't truly like me for who I was. They only liked that part of me, that party side of me. And as a result, I lost a lot of my so-called friends when I decided to go a different way. So keep that in mind because it's easy to search for quantity instead of quality with friendships and relationships because you get the dopamine rush, you get a lot of people who want your attention, blah blah blah. But really, find a few quality friends in your life that you can count on unconditionally, and it will go a long way. Make sure they like you for who you are and not who you're pretending to be in order to be liked. Number five is learn how to regulate your emotions. This kind of goes without saying, but it's so important. I know in my younger years, I was terrible at this. And as a result, I used drugs to manage the pain and to self-regulate, which created, a lot of problems in my life, obviously. And you have to find things that work for you. This could be, going to therapy. It could be breath work. It could be going for a walk. It could be just spending time in silence. But you have to find something that works for you as a tool so that when you do get emotionally charged, you can kind of calm yourself down in an efficient way so you can move on with your day and not let it get the best of you. Number six is compound small wins over time. Small wins will add up. If you do things on a daily basis and you're consistent with them, you're going to look back in 2 weeks' time, in 2 months' time, and you're going to say, wow, look what I've achieved. And so I think it's in a world where we see highlight reels on social media, we see people achieving these big things. What gets lost in that is a lot of what has been accomplished is a result of just mastering the small things in life and getting good at watching those things compound. So just think about it in that sense that the more consistent you are, the more you have these small wins that don't seem, crazy big in the moment, the bigger chance you're going to have of things of winning big long term. Number seven is confidence isn't built at the top of the mountain. Confidence is built by getting back up each time you fall. Confidence is built on the climb and continuing to pursue whatever it is you're pursuing, continuing to believe in yourself even when it doesn't make sense, continuing to have hope in what you're doing even when you're not at the top. And I think that what happens, it's happened in my life, is you think you get to the top in an area of your life and you're like, wow, when I get there, I will be happy. And then it's you just automatically have to find the next mountain to climb, right? Because that dopamine rush wears off pretty quick. And I mean, for me personally, most of the confidence that I built in my life came when I rebuilt my life at rock bottom when I was in jail. So keep that in mind for people who are not confident yet or they're working on their confidence. I mean, confidence really comes from just continuing to move forward and get back up after you fall and after you're still on the journey. Number eight, and this kind of relates to number six, is chasing after big goals is cool, but have meaning behind them. So you have to have a reason why you're trying to achieve a certain thing. If you want X amount of money in the bank, or you want X type of relationship or you want X amount of success in your career, like what's the meaning behind that? And the reason I say attach a meaning is because on the pursuit of achieving these big goals is going to come challenge, is going to come adversity. And you have to dig deep and remember why you started, really dig into that emotion to persevere when those times are tough, because they're going to happen, right? So you have to have a meaning behind what you're doing. Number 9, escape the external validation trap. External validation can be a drug if you're not careful, right? And I think having validation is important in your life. I think having people cheer for you is important, and having people who bring the best out in you, like I said earlier, is monumental and incredibly important for success. However, if you're solely doing things because you're waiting for applause or the likes or the comments or whatever it is, then you're going to find yourself trapped. You're going to find yourself trapped in an external validation. You're going to have to keep doing things to get that instead of building yourself up internally, like figuring out like truly what you like about yourself, truly like how proud you are of yourself and all the things that you're doing that can lift you up internally, so that the external will just be more of an enhancer with that kind of thing, right? So build yourself up internally, and then like the external things not only will come, but they will feel that much better because they'll feel more authentic, and you won't end up just chasing things for the wrong reasons. Number 10, stop letting other people's opinions dictate your life. This kind of goes back to 9 where with external validation, but you have to understand that as long as you're doing like the right things in your life and they're aligned with your values and who you truly are and where you want to go, there's a good chance, if you're doing that long enough, that there's going to be people that say certain things about you. And you're going to have to develop thick skin and say, you know what, like maybe they don't understand me. They don't see my perspective. They don't know me well enough or whatever it is. But I know that I'm doing the right thing. Because if you let other people's opinions dictate how you live your life, you will lose yourself and become somebody that you hate, because you end up having to continue to morph and change yourself in order to continue to be liked by other people. So don't let other people's opinions dictate your life. Run your own race. Number 11, understand this. You aren't a failure, but you just failed, and that's okay. There's a very good chance in life, as a matter of fact, 100% chance that you're going to fail at certain things in life. And what matters is you don't let that define who you are, and you don't think of yourself as a failure, because if you do, you will begin to make decisions that reflect that. You won't take chances on yourself anymore. You won't learn to bet on yourself. You will believe that you're not going to accomplish anything, so what's the point of trying? Instead of acknowledging the fact that sometimes things don't go your way, you failed, that's okay, and then learn from it and grow from it. There's two different things. There's a difference between, saying that you failed and saying that you're a failure, and you have to like have the difference, and you have to know the difference between the two, and really spend time like understanding what went wrong and seeing how you can course correct. Number 12, it takes decades to build a reputation and seconds to destroy it. Choose wisely. It's so easy to destroy your reputation. And I think that people sometimes forget this, right? That they let short-term emotions dictate, long-term outlooks on life, right? And they make decisions in the near term with instant gratification or whatever the case may be, and it costs them long-term. All it takes is to make a really dumb decision in the moment to completely destroy your life. And so I say that because it goes back to some of the other things that I've been talking about, in that you have to do what you can to regulate yourself and stay present, so that you're not making decisions in the short term that you will regret potentially for the rest of your life. Number 13, don't be afraid to ask for help. Like, it's okay to ask for help. If you're struggling, if you're going through it mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, like, ask for help. Reach out. Ask a friend, a loved one, a coworker, somebody you trust for help, and just admit that you don't know everything about what it is you're going through, and just watch what can come from that. Watch the success that might happen. Watch the turnaround that might come from simply asking for help. Number 14, silence is key. Practice the pause. And this can come in a variety of ways. It can come from not saying the thing that's on your mind, and just keeping things to yourself to protect a relationship or to not hurt somebody's feelings. It could be from just spending time like in peace, so that you can have more time to think or to kind of just take some time for yourself, whatever it is, like embrace silence. I think there's so much noise right now in society. And one of the things that's missing is our ability to bring peace and silence within ourselves. So silence is key. Number 15, admitting that you're wrong is cool. When you were wrong and you did something that you shouldn't have done and you hurt somebody's feelings, admitting that and apologizing is okay. And I think so often in life, like a lot of relationships get ruined because all the other person wanted to hear was, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry for the way I treated you, or I'm sorry for doing that. And I think that, our egos get in the way of this at times. And, we think that if you admit that you're wrong, it means that you're a loser or you're a failure or whatever. But the reality is, like, if you can admit you're wrong, that shows humility. It shows emotional intelligence and maturity. And I think it's an important quality to have, as you're trying to achieve success in life, is just admitting when you're wrong. Like, just admitting when you shouldn't have said something or done something. Number 16 is no one is paying as much attention to you as you think they are. You see this a lot of times in the gym, and I'll use this as an easy example because a lot of times where people have been so afraid to go into the gym because they're like, what are people going to think of me when I can't do X or I can't do Y? And the reality is, like, 99.999% of the people in there, like, aren't paying attention to you like that, right? And I think that's the same thing with life is, like, most people that you think are paying attention to you aren't. And it's an important thing to remember because I think a lot of times what trips people up and prevents people from taking that chance in life is, again, the other people's opinions, but it's thinking that they care that much about you that they're investing all their time into, like, making fun of you or talking behind your back or whatever. And the reality is they're not, right? So keep that in mind as you're going through life, that not everyone is paying as much attention to you as you think that they are. Number 17 is face your fears. You will appreciate it afterwards. There's nothing more fulfilling. I mean, I shouldn't say it like that. There's not many things that are more fulfilling than doing something that you're scared of, and that feeling afterwards that you prove to yourself that you could do the thing and that you bet on yourself and the confidence and everything that comes with that. So it's just an important thing to remember, like something you're afraid of. Just do the thing. Obviously, like, within reason, like, don't do anything that's going to put your life at risk. But you know what I'm talking about. It's these general fears we have on a regular basis. On the other side of that discomfort is actually peace of mind, it's confidence, it's self-esteem. So face your fears and you'll appreciate it afterwards. Number 18 is nothing will save you from your insecurities other than yourself. For a long time, I wanted everything to save me but myself. And what I realized is the further I ran from that and the more I kind of hid from dealing with my insecurities on my own, the worse they got. And it wasn't until I had that hard conversation with myself and I said, hey, listen, like, you got to deal with this. Like, no one is going to come and fix you. Nothing is going to come and save you. My life changed after that because I realized that A, it's okay to have insecurities. And B, I knew that I had some level of control. When you are waiting for something or someone to come and fix you or rescue you, you relinquish control over your life to something or someone else. And when I stopped doing that, I mean, life got better because I figured out how to deal with things on my own. Number 19 is learn to forgive faster. I think resentments destroy all areas of life, right? And I think the longer you let things fester, the longer you hold on to anything. I mean, not only does it damage, a relationship between two people, it damages the relationship with yourself. So learn to forgive other people, again, on your own time, but stop holding on to things so long that they become toxic to you. And also, like, learn to forgive yourself if you mess up. Number 20 is invest in experiences. I think it's important, obviously, to invest for retirement and to invest for the future, like financially, no doubt. However, life's short and life's precious. And I think it's important to enjoy these moments when you can, when you're able to. Again, doesn't have to be anything extravagant, but just think of things you can do with what you can afford and invest in experiences so that you have things to kind of talk about with people. I think it's been something that we've been doing lately, and I'm really grateful for it because it gives us a lot to talk about, and it's just so fun to explore and to do things that are different and out of your comfort zone and that sort of thing. Number 21 is tell the people you care about that you love them more. And this goes along with, you know, the life short aspect that I mentioned before, that you just never know. You never know when it's going to be the last time you talk to someone. So, reach out to those people you care about today. Tell them you love them. Tell them you appreciate them. It'll go a long way. Number 22 is have a plan, but don't be afraid to adjust when needed. Again, having a plan is super important and you need it whenever you're looking to achieve something. However, you can't be so black and white on it that you don't course correct when you need to because you want to see it out until it's through. I think that your gut, or maybe you have mentors in your life or people around you that you trust, will kind of help nudge you to course correct if you need to. But you got to know that time, and you got to know, like, hey, like, I'm confident in this plan or whatever I'm doing, but what the flavor of it that I'm doing right now isn't working. So let's shift and course correct before it's too late. Like, don't be afraid to do that. Number 23 is be aware of how you talk to yourself. Self talk matters. And you don't have to be like super, super positive all the time, but you have to be aware of your mindset. And if you're talking negative to yourself on a regular basis, it's going to dramatically impact how you live your life. So develop some self awareness around that, and your life will dramatically improve. Number 24 is to have a few people in your life that you can count on no matter what. This obviously can be your partner, your spouse, it can be somebody in your family, but have people that if it's like 2 o'clock in the morning and you need a ride, you can count on them. Or if you're going through it and you know that you need someone to talk to, like, who's going to be that person, right? So just think about that. And again, it's to reinforce the point, it's quality over quantity when it comes to friendships. Trust me. I mean, like, as I've gotten older, I've definitely learned this, that it's like, I've had the same few people in my life that I can really count on, as I've gotten older. And you just see that the value in that, because you have more depth in those relationships compared to having like a million friends, right? Like, just choose depth over quantity when it comes to your friendships. Number 25 is mental health and physical health go hand in hand. This has been incredibly true in my life and the lives of a lot of other people that I know, in that, like, the more fit you are and the more healthy you are, the better you're going to feel mentally, and vice versa. And again, you don't have to be this, super, 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 super fit person. But what I'm saying is, if you're not exercising, if you're not moving your body, you're not eating well, it's going to impact you mentally. And if you're not taking care of your mental health, it's going to impact you physically. So do whatever you need to do to take care of those areas of your life, and find something that works for you. Again, there's a lot of advice out there as to what works. And I think advice like that is important to hear. I talk about that kind of stuff on my show. But the thing I've always said, and I will say, is you have to find what works for you, because consistency and doing what you like is going to matter more than the next like trend in the mental health or health space. Number 26 is choose kindness over being nice. When I think of the word nice, I think of like just being a people pleaser, right? And you're just doing things to please other people. You don't have a backbone. You're not standing up for yourself. You're not having your own opinions or values. You're kind of just doing things constantly to please other people, to be quote unquote nice. Kindness is more of like a character trait in how you behave and how you carry yourself. You can stand up for yourself in a very kind way. You can share your opinion with someone in a very kind way. You can disagree in a kind way. You can do things out of the goodness of your heart in a very kind way. And then when I hear the word nice, I think of it more as in the sense of, you're just kind of doing things to kind of please others. And I think there's a difference there. I think that, when you're kind, it's just like, that's more about the way that you carry yourself. And I think that you should be polite. You should have compassion. You should practice kindness. You should be somebody that, cares about other people. And I kind of separate those things from being quote unquote nice. I think when we've heard the term like nice people or nice guys finish last. And I think it's because, like, when people are super, super quote unquote nice, they aren't standing up for themselves, and they're just, people pleasing and letting people take advantage of them. So practice kindness over just being quote unquote nice. Number 27, hold the door open for others more often. I mean, you'll feel so much better about yourself. You hold the door open for somebody. If you're going into a restaurant or coffee shop, the gym, just hold the door open. I guarantee you, you'll feel better after doing so. Number 28 is you have to accept people for who they are. Like, not everyone is going to be as passionate about health and fitness as you. Not everyone is going to be passionate about this or that as you. Or like with like a lot of times, people will, this comes up in like family situations where people are like, why don't they see my perspective, or why are they acting this way? And a lot of times you just have to accept people for who they are. Again, it doesn't mean that that behavior is necessarily acceptable or the way that it should be, but you can't change people. You have to accept people for who they are, and then make a decision based on that as to like whether or not you're going to keep that person in your life. And I think that's an important thing to remember, because you end up spending so much time trying to change someone instead of just realizing like, hey, like I accept this person for who they are, and this is the decision or boundary I'm going to make around that. Number 29 is work on getting a little bit better each and every day. Again, self improvement is not about going from 0 to 100. It's about going from 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, etc. And again, those things will compound. So focus on just getting a little bit better each and every day instead of trying to have this dramatic transformation in a period of a couple of days. Number 30 is to remember how far you've come and how far you have to go. I think a lot of times on this transformation journey, we think about like what we haven't done or how far we are from reaching that goal, and we forget to dig deep and say, hey, like these are the things that I have achieved on this transformation. Look at where I was 90 days ago. Look at where I was 6 months ago, and then compare yourself to that. Like, you have to understand that part of transformation is celebrating those wins along the way, as I've kind of touched on a few times here already. And you have to focus on how much you've achieved in your life or on your transformation instead of looking at all the things that you haven't. Number 31 is stop feeling sorry for yourself. Like, unfortunately, things are going to happen in life that might be bad, that you don't agree with, etc. But if you choose to pity yourself, you're not going to get you know, you're not going to get the result that you want, which is to improve yourself, be happy again, find success, make more money, whatever the case may be, because you're going to be so stuck in feeling sorry for yourself. I mean, and obviously there's a time and place where you can just kind of sit in your emotions for a period of time. But there's a difference between doing that and just feeling sorry for yourself and saying, oh my God, the world's against me. I'm never going to do this. I'm never going to do that. Like, the world is destined for me to fail. I'm a failure, all these things, because that will just keep you trapped and prevent you, from moving forward in life. Because the reality is, as somebody who has, been in that trap before in my life, like, all I wanted was to know that things were going to be okay and that I was going to have some success in life. And the longer I sat in self pity, the more time it took away from my ability to achieve whatever it is that I wanted to. And this goes into number 32, which is take accountability for your actions. Like, take accountability for yourself. Like, if you are going to commit to, going to the gym, X amount of days a week, then make sure you do so. If you make a mistake, hold yourself accountable. If you do something wrong, admit that you're wrong. Like, if you are committed to doing something, like, stay disciplined and be held accountable and set like a certain standard for yourself that you stick to on a regular basis. Like, take accountability for your actions and just watch how much your life will improve. Number 33, the small stuff will add up. Just like small wins compound, small bad things can compound too. So just take accountability with that, because what happens is you end up like forming these new habits, and then you get used to them, and then you start to slowly lose sight of like where you're at with that. And 2 months later, you have this horrible habit that you've developed because you weren't careful, and it's because it started off with like being a small thing that just built up and built up, and you built tolerance to whatever it is you were doing. And as a result, you got more used to it. That became a new normal. And then it got worse over time. So be mindful of that. Number 34 is don't get trapped in the past. Don't get trapped in the past. Use your past as a guide to learn from your mistakes and to maybe have some perspective on where you could have done better. But don't like live in it so that you're trapped there and you can't move forward because you're so like tied to whatever happened in your past or years ago. Like you have to get to a place where you can acknowledge and accept, the past, version of you and things in your life, while also being like, okay, like that happened X amount of time ago. I've worked through that, or I'm working on that, and now I'm focused on the future. Number 35 is to learn to laugh more, to smile more. I mean, I think it's so easy when we're trying to transform our lives to be so serious about everything. And in reality, like what actually will also make us happier is learning to like laugh and have a good time. And so don't be afraid to do that in life or as you're transforming yourself, because laughter is powerful, and find, whatever things make you laugh that work for you in your life. Number 36, it's okay to binge watch shows. I think, you know, a lot of times we equate people who binge watch shows or sitting on the couch to them being quote unquote unmotivated or lazy. And we forget that we're all human, and it's okay to like find a show that you really like, or find something that you enjoy watching on TV and just watch it for hours. Like I think there's a time for that, and I think it's important. I think where it gets in the way is if that's all you're doing and you're not like showing up for work, you're not showing up in your relationships, you're not going to the gym, like obviously then that's a problem. But what you have to focus on is saying like, okay, like what percentage of my life is this? And is it fitting like within my goals? And most of the time it actually like is like watching, TV for a few hours a day, like isn't the worst thing in the world. But what's bad is like if you take it to the extreme and you watch it all day, every day, and you don't do anything else. So again, like just understand that we're human and it's okay to binge watch TV. Number 37 is find a way to give back. Being of service and helping other people just makes you feel so much better. So whether it's just reaching out to people that you care about on a regular basis, whether it's volunteering somewhere, whether it's finding some organization that you're connected to, or finding like a cause that you're passionate about, like find a way to give back. Number 38, don't settle personally or professionally. And so those are my 38 lessons or harsh truths. If you enjoy this episode, leave a comment if you're watching on YouTube, or tag me on social media, because I would love to hear your feedback.